This is question number 10 from the third and final probability and stats revision quiz, and I've got Tali keeping me accompanied as we do these. And so in question number 9 we talked about how each of these beta values we're actually predicting that using a little b, which is our best prediction of the beta value based upon the data points that we have, and in this case we've got at 28 sets of data points, 28 values from which to predict our beta values. And we talked about how, and we learned that the little b has a distribution that is a t distribution with n minus, in this case 4, or minus the number of independent variables plus 1 for the intercept. So it's 28 minus 4 is going to be 24 degrees of freedom in this case. So what we're looking for is a t distribution. We're trying to predict our beta value, so we're going to have a value for our little b3, and it's going to have a t distribution with 24 degrees of freedom. So how do we actually calculate that? Well, our beta value is going to be equal to our predicted value, 0.57734. Well, I probably should have done it in symbols first. So we're going to have x3, and then we're going to have plus or minus some sort of error, and that's going to be given by a t distribution with alpha of 0.02, and we want either side, alpha divided by 2, multiplied by our standard error for 3. Standard error B3, and that's given here in the table as well, so we don't have to calculate that at all. So let's find out what that actually is. So we've already found x3 here is 0.57734, plus or minus, what's our t alpha divided by 2? Here's a t table I prepared earlier. So we're remembering we've got a we're looking for a two-sided, so we've got one-sided here, so we won't have to divide by 2. So we want a 2% confidence interval, so we actually want 0.01 above and 0.01 below. So our 0.01 column is going to give us the value that we want, and we said it's 24 degrees of freedom. So with 24 degrees of freedom and 0.01 for either side, we get a value of 2.492. So I hope that made sense. I think I said we were going to do a two-sided thing. We're actually trying to predict around our medium value here. We want a 2% alpha, or a 98% confidence interval. So 1% above and 1% below to give us that range. So 1% here is going to be just fine, the 0.01 value. So what do we say? 24 degrees of freedom and 0.01, 2.492. Thank you, Tali. So what do we got? 2.492 plus or minus our standard error, which is 0.1659. 0.16597 we'll call it, and that's going to give us hopefully the answers that you can see are correct there. We'll try one of them to make sure we've got the right numbers. 3, 4 plus 2.492. That's not plus or minus, that's multiplied by that times 0.16597, and that gives you 0.9909 or 0.991. And that's going to be our upper limit. And if you put in 0.57734 minus 2.492 times 0.16597, you'll get 0.164 as the lower limit. Hope those help, and if any of these videos haven't made any sense, then let me know and we'll do them again.